Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here at 3TR, here to bring you another weekly episode of my weekly Q&A show titled People's Questions, episode 182. This time, rather, we got about a good number, well, very solid number of questions from about 5 of you, including one newbie for this particular episode. And jumping right into them, the first question comes from a regular of mine going by the name of JDS4696, and you want to know, do I think Assassin's Creed Syndicate will be good? Well, man, I personally don't care about it if it's going to be good or not because I'm not going to play it. I am officially done with Assassin's Creed. I gave it one last chance to impress me. It failed both times with Rogue and Unity, which I didn't even get a chance to really play very often. So, as far as I'm concerned, I am done with Assassin's Creed. Black Flag is, to this date, my last and favorite entry in the franchise, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. The next 3 questions come from Jeff D. Brock, or BOCK, I should say, and he wants to know, what video game deserves a Netflix original series / movie? Well, personally, I don't think video games should be movies because you can't tell them in the same, the same degree as a video game, because with a video game you don't have just 2 hours to tell a story. You have as long as you need. Movies, you kind of have to condense all that, so it's kind of a lose-lose scenario. But personally, if I had to pick one for an original series, you really could do that with just about any video game. It really just depends on how you want to tell your story and exactly what elements of the story you want to focus on per episode. Your next question is, do I think video games with the same concept as Pixels would work if done right? A video game with the same... Well, how would you do something like that? It would be kind of in reverse. I mean, the whole point of Pixels was that you're going to fight video game characters in the real world. So to do a video based off a movie, which that movie is based off a concept, is a little bit crazy. I mean, and could you do it in a game if you could get the right licenses? Because you have to remember that all those video game characters come from multiple games, so you have to get permission to actually use those characters in your game. And, that brings its whole new set of problems. And your last question is, did I ever watch Thunderbirds? And if so, what was my opinion on it? I'm not sure if Thunderbirds is supposed to be a show or if you mean the actual Thunderbirds that we have here in Vegas. Because I've seen the Thunderbirds perform. And if I recall correctly, when I was much smaller, I actually got to see the Thunderbirds up close when they were parked. But if you're talking about a show called Thunderbirds, I've never actually heard of it. I've only heard of the ones we have here at Nellis Air Force Base. The next 3 questions come from the Elite HELGHAN, and you want to know, do I believe the rumors of a Netflix series of The Legend of Zelda? Well, this kind of goes into a previous question I just answered. I haven't heard of any rumors about them doing Legend of Zelda. I remember that April Fool's Day movie trailer that IGN put out years and years ago. But if they're up for doing a Legend of Zelda Netflix series, then all the power to you. Just make sure you do it right. Your next question is, what do I hope to see in the Deadpool movie? Well, from what I've seen in the trailer, I'm going to get exactly what I'm sure a lot of people want us to see in a Deadpool movie. But if I had to say anything in particular, I would really like to see a scene where maybe Deadpool gets like a limb kind of cut off and he accidentally puts it in the wrong place, and there's a whole little comedy sketch about that, because Deadpool's done that a ton of times. I would just love to see that play out on screen. And your last question is, besides Metal Gear, what is my most anticipated game of the year? Well, I would say it already kind of came out and I've been playing it a while, and that would be Mortal Kombat, which it hasn't disappointed. I gave it a really great review, and yeah, aside from Metal Gear, the only other games I plan on playing this year is maybe Mad Max. I got Gears that I'll be playing for the first time, Halo. I'll definitely be renting Call of Duty. I won't be buying Call of Duty, but I have a whole slew of games I have to review this year. The next 2 questions actually come from the newbie of the episode, coming by the name of, I hope I say this right, Henry RASCHE. I hope I said that right, or maybe I'll just say Henry R, just to be simple. And you want to know, will I be watching Fear the Walking Dead? Well, Henry, I don't watch The Walking Dead. I'm a little bit burnt out of zombies in terms of movies and video games, so no, I'm not really a fan of The Walking Dead. And your second question is, am I going to buy the Nathan Drake collection? Well, Henry, I don't see why I need to buy the Nathan Drake collection because I already have it. It's right here. And guess what? I don't have to wait for it to be released. I can play it right now, and I've been playing them for years, and they still look good. Because, heck, even now, despite the fact that the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One have been out for a while, I still play my PlayStation 3 more than those two systems combined. So, I don't see why I need to buy it again. And the last few questions come from Switch Kid 1, and you want to know, what characters would I like to see in the new Mortal Kombat movie? Personally, I think they should follow the model for the original and keep it relatively simple, stick with the original cast. I think the reason why the games could get away with having so many characters is because anyone who's playing those games already knows the characters. But if you're going to introduce this movie to a new audience, then you can't have like 15 different characters, because you need time to at least explain the characters that you have in the movie. I mean, and that's something that the first movie to a degree did right. I think the only one that they didn't really explain was... No, I take that back. They did actually explain Reptile a little bit, despite the fact he had like maybe 2 small cameos, and they explained Goro. But every character that they had in those movies, you somewhat understood their character. And I think that it made it really simple for the plot to move forward and not spend so much time having to develop these individual characters because you knew they were going to get killed off. So in my opinion, stick with the original 8. If you want to throw in Shang Tsung, Goro, and Reptile, that's fine with me because it did so well the first time. Your next question is, what are my thoughts on the Aquaman movie, and have I been a fan of Aquaman? Well, I've never actually been a fan of the original take of Aquaman, but I really like the new interpretation of Aquaman, which I did happen to see the first time for the New 52 and was an Injustice. So if they give me that Aquaman for this new Justice League movie, then I'll be super pumped up for it, and I'll be even more pumped up for it when I see him in his own individual movie. And last question is the ultimate question: Marvel or DC? Well, I've always been more of a DC person. I just think DC characters have a little bit more variety in them. There's not as much friction. If there's one thing I've never really liked about the Marvel characters is that they don't really seem to enjoy working with each other, and there's just so much friction in that group. I mean, look where we're going now. There's so much friction that they have to have a civil war due to meta-human registration, which I think is ridiculous. This never, ever would have happened in the DC universe. If anything, the only problem that Justice League have ever had amongst each other is with Batman, and Batman's an asshole altogether. So if anyone's going to have a problem with anybody in the DC universe, it's going to be with Batman, not factions. That's never happened in the DC universe as far as I'm concerned. And with that, those are all the questions that you guys sent for this particular episode. I'd like to thank the 5 of you for making this episode possible. If you like this video, feel free to like and comment down below. And if you guys have any more questions that you would like me to answer in next episode, make sure you do type them in the comments down below as well. But make sure you limit it to only 3 questions per person. And remember, like always, get them into me before next Wednesday, before I start filming this for Friday. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.